Good morning, Saints. Let me adjust this. Happy Saturday morning after the 4th of July. So I pray everybody had a good time. Yeah, we had quite the fireworks around here this year. It was more than usual. So it was fun. I always enjoy it. So let's talk about God being the a way maker. We've heard that saying. If you're a Christian, you heard God being referred to as a way maker, right? The one who makes a way out of no way, right? How the Lord parted the Red Sea for Moses and the nation of Israel when they was fleeing Egypt, right? That's the Lord making a way out of no way, right? And so I just wanted to talk about that this morning, saints. And so waymaker. That's not like you won't find that specific phrase in the Bible. That's not like in a verse where it says God is the waymaker God, right? But but that principle of the Lord making a way out of no way is all throughout the Bible. So in a sense, we coined the term waymaker, and that's a title that we have placed upon the Lord, but it's appropriate. It is definitely recognizing God's power and authority to make a way out of no way, right? And I don't know if you've been there personally yet in your life and can testify to seeing how God has made a way out of no way, but it's a wonderful thing to behold. And so I just wanted to, so let's read this verse real quick, and then I'll share a story, a testimony on how God has made a way out of no way for me multiple times throughout my life, right? Okay, so in the book Isaiah, chapter 43:19 says, Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Right? Amen to that. So that's coming out of the prophet Isaiah. And the Lord was saying that, He'll make a way in the wilderness and the rivers in the desert, okay? So it's all about just relying on the Lord for your support and your help when you need it, okay? God's promise to bring about a renewal and transformation, it speaks of God doing something new, even making a way in the wilderness and providing rivers in the desert, symbolizing the provision of the new beginnings and hope where there was once barrenness and despair. This verse encourages believers to let go of the past and embrace the new things God is doing in their lives. Amen. Right? So, a real quick testimony to this. So, when I first got released from the penitentiary, it was rough. Like maybe I'll have to say maybe the first year I was just didn't really have a place to stay. Nobody, because I was gone for so long, and it was just a challenge. Excuse me, being on supervised release and having a report. It was just that whole ordeal. It was just something. Before I finally was able to settle down and land on my feet and get enough traction to get myself back together once again out here in society. I've been gone for so long. Okay, so in the process of that, I had got into a situation and ended up catching an assault, a felony assault, and a firearm, felony in possession of a firearm. Right, these are two serious crimes. Okay, so I had a situation with another guy, uh, um, and so yeah, I had to give him some straightening out, and I did, and so when the police came, they found some guns, and my roommate's room. Okay, I had a couple of people that was living in the house that was with me, and they was renting out rooms. We always basically renting out our own space within this house. Okay, and so he had some firearms in his room. Okay, and they charged me for it. Right now, I mean, I didn't. They weren't mine. I didn't have nothing to do with them. But because I was a felon, I wasn't even supposed to be around them. So, they threw that. Plus, and then I assaulted one of the guys because he was wrong. Okay, so they hit me with both these charges: felony assault, and then felon in possession of a firearm for these guns that weren't even mine. So that case, although serious, I wasn't really too concerned about it. I understood the law, but still, I'm on supervised release for the feds, and I'm picking up these two major felony cases now, right? So they arrest me, and I go to jail, and they set my bond at like $1 million, of course, some astronomical number. And I'll never forget. I wasn't really like scared or worried about it too much because I knew the gun situation. I weren't mine, so even though that case was serious, but then the assault case, I already knew what I was getting myself into when I got on the guy, right? So um, I wasn't too much concerned about it. And so when my attorney came, he asked me, did I have any requests? I said, yeah. Just ask the judge if I get a lower bond, right? At least give me a chance to get out. And so we go to court, and in the process of that little proceeding, my court-appointed attorney at that time, he asked the judge if she would consider bond reduction. Okay, and uh, and I'll never forget, we're all sitting in the courtroom, and he's running off. And I'll never forget this because my lawyer, he's running off all these listed things about me. I'm on supervised release, and my different charges I was in prison for, and all. So when he's reading off this list, it's just making. I'm looking at him like, damn, he's not really helping my cause. So, and so the judge, bless her heart, she said, you know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this, and she lowered the bond enough for me to be able to get out. Basically, she lowered the bond from $1 million to $1,000, something like that, made it affordable for me to be able to get out. Okay, and so court is over. They take me back to the jail, and I'll never forget it. When they were letting me out. They take me to change into my, regular clothes out of the jail clothes. The deputy that was escorting me out of the jail, he was talking to me. He said, "Listen, I've been here like almost 20 years, and I've never seen her do something like that." And he was just let me know how lucky I was. He couldn't believe it. He said, "You don't even." He said, "Just on the gun charge alone, that should have been enough to keep you behind bars right now for her to basically release me and let me get out." That deputy, he couldn't believe it. So he was just telling me how lucky I should be and I should be thankful. And I'm like, yeah, I'm real thankful. I mean, I understood the scope and the magnitude of it, but to me, this is an example of God making a way out of no way for me. And he can move the hearts of man. All things is in God's control. And so I just wanted to share that story. It's just one of those ones where even that judge, she remarked in the courtroom that day of how she didn't even know why she was doing what she was doing, but she felt that unction in her spirit to give me a break and cut me a little slack. And see, to me, that's the Lord was impressing upon her spirit in that courtroom at that time. And so bless her heart that she responded and to it, and I got released out of that situation. Eventually, they ended up dropping the gun charge because the guy whose gun it was, he came to court. They didn't have no fingerprints on it, so they couldn't really tie that gun to me. It wasn't in my possession, right? And then the assault case, that ended up getting worked out as well in court, right? When all the details came out about what happened. So but yeah, but thank God, that's in my past. But yeah, that's definitely a time when the Lord has showed up and showed out for me on my behalf. When I didn't deserve it or earn it or but I appreciated it for sure. So, all right, so yes, the Lord is the great way maker in our lives. So I just want to encourage everybody, look to the Lord, for your wants and your needs this day, right? Okay, thank you for watching this morning's devotional. If you found any value in it, all I ask is that you take 5 minutes to give that back unto the Lord. Um, I pray that your faith be increased this day. And as always, let's be light and let's be salt. Thank you for watching.